Welcome to It's All Relative. I'm Josh.
And I'm Timothy.
And this is episode 2.
Episode 2, brother. We made it there.
Yeah, another week. How was your week, my man?
It was rough, bro. It was pretty rough, man. There was like a lot of stuff going on with eBay, a lot of bullshit. And they changing their policies, and I have to work out all of these policies. So they've changed one with how they do their payment process. So they're splitting from PayPal. I think they did it in like 2015 or something like that.
Really?
But now they're actually doing the payment split for eBay. So everybody is going to have their payments handled through eBay, and it is messing up everybody's operations. So, you know, that's my side hustle that I'm trying to make a main hustle.
Right.
So I have to work my way through all of this nonsense that they've put on everybody. And it's mandatory.
Wow.
So that's what I've been dealing with.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, brother, but that's my week. But, you know, I'm still alive. I'm still going to get there.
My man, still breathing.
Yeah, still breathing. So how was yours?
Mine was okay. You know, busy.
Busy.
As always.
Okay.
You know. But I'm glad that we're here.
Yeah, man.
And we're able to start with the second episode. Being that it's October, you know, and Halloween is quickly approaching, I wanted today's episode to keep that spooky vibe going.
Okay,
you
spooky.
Know?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
Are you a fan of Halloween?
So I am a fan of Halloween, but honestly, it used to be just more attached to candy. I'm talking like, we would go through the neighborhoods and get trash bags and just scoop up all the candy. It was like a race to get the most candy. You know what I mean? And then eat the candy and then watch as the teeth rot. So for the next 2 weeks, right? I used to have candy that's lasted from Halloween to like July.
Nice.
Yes, you know.
Nice.
But yeah, man. What
That's
about
crazy.
you?
I do. I enjoy Halloween time. I like to be. I like the scary vibe.
Scary vibe is wonderful.
I enjoy. Actually, I enjoy to be the one that scares people. I enjoy getting scared. It's fun, you know. Get that adrenaline going.
Yeah. Shaking it up. And
I'd rather be the one that's scaring other people.
Yo, some people take much pride in scaring people. Like jumping out the house with like a knife in their hands type shit. Like, and then laughing as they run away and everything. That shit is comedy.
That is fun.
Yeah, man.
So today we got a special guest that has decided to come in, and this is someone who has truly encountered a few paranormal or unexplainable experiences.
Okay. Very interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, Johanna Hollister.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
Thank
excited
you.
To be here.
Nice, yes. Thank you for being here.
Very excited. I love this stuff.
I can tell you're shaking in your seat. Yeah. It's wonderful.
It is. It's fun. It's a fun time. I, like Josh said, I love being scared. So I love all of it. I love Halloween. I love the month of October. I love being scared. I love scary movies. But my favorite is the paranormal because it is unexplainable. So it makes you think. It opens your mind.
Right.
And it's like, you don't know what it is. And that is scary.
Okay.
But it at the same time, it is so intriguing, especially watching it and like wanting to know more.
Okay. Let me ask you a question then. When was your first time that you've ever come to the realization that there is a ghost, or did it come from something like from movies? Did you learn from like a movie and then try to follow a trail to see if there's anything real?
My whole life, like my family, like my grandmother is very into like spirits and stuff like that. So I always like heard about it growing up and everything, but I didn't have my first like experience where it was like, okay, like this is, real. They are real. It's not just something that my nana's talked about my whole life. Like here it is until I was a teenager.
Right.
But there was, a couple of things that I thought were a bit odd.
That was like a little bit off.
Yeah, but at the same time I was a kid, so I wasn't. But once I was a teenager and I like had those experiences, it was all different.
Okay.
It was more real.
It was more okay. That's cool.
So you're definitely a believer in ghosts.
Yes.
All
right.
Are you, Tim?
I believe that there's stuff like that. I definitely believe that there is spiritual things that exist. So And I guess being paranormal is either an extension of it or like, something that is along that line.
Right.
But honestly, I've never had an experience happen to me. So I can't say either way, but I mean, I believe in spiritual stuff, so there has to be things like that exist.
Sure.
Yeah. It's all part of the same plane, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, paranormal is defined as denoting events or phenomena such as telekinesis or clairvoyance that are beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding.
Huh. So clairvoyance and, like actually floating and stuff like that? Is that what that means? Or, I mean...
That's what telekinesis is. Like being able to move things with your mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right,
okay.
so, I myself have not experienced anything like that, but I definitely believe in those type of things. So we wanted to start out with one crazy story, actually.
Okay.
It's a story that involves it's about a haunted doll, and it's a true life story.
Haunted doll. Okay.
You can do your research and look it up.
I will after this. Yeah. For sure.
But
I've probably heard about it already.
You may have.
I look up all of this stuff.
So yeah, it's not your typical like crazy Chucky doll, little wild crazy little thing trying to chase you and kill you. This is different, but it's still very intriguing.
That's still something that exists. Okay.
Right. So
sure.
All right. Houston area, Christmas 2013. Okay.
Ah, that was a snowy one.
So
wow, you remember the snow?
I was gonna say you remember that far back? I don't remember that far back. That's pretty bad. Little girl. Okay, so there's a little girl. She received a Disney's Frozen Elsa doll. You guys familiar with?
Yes.
Let it snow.
A little character from the movie Frozen.
Yes, my niece was obsessed with that when they first came out.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yes,
definitely.
So the doll would sing the song "Let It Go" when you push the little button on her necklace. That was like one of the things that the doll did.
Okay.
So the mother of the daughter, Emily Madonier, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I apologize if I'm not. But she quoted, for 2 years, it did that in English, right? So it sang the Let It Go song in English.
In English, okay.
Then in 2015, so 2 years after, it started doing it alternating between Spanish and English. Okay, and there wasn't a button or setting that changed that. It was just random. End quote. Which is pretty weird, right?
Yeah, that's pretty off. Yeah,
especially being after 2 years. That's what that's crazy for it to do something. Be English for 2 years and then all of a sudden
switch the language up.
Yeah, especially if there's not like a button or something like on the inside of it.
Right, there's not a switch that's like to Spanish or anything.
Yeah, no button, no switch, no. It just I guess like she said, it just started randomly doing that, which is odd.
I mean, I will play devil's advocate for the non-believers, and it could be a malfunction, but that just I feel like if it were a malfunction, it would have happened sooner than 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, like it could have happened the very next day or something like that.
Yeah. So, okay, getting back. So the family owned the doll for more than 6 years, right? And never changed the batteries, which that in itself is weird too.
Very weird.
6 years for a kid's toy and you never change the batteries. Emily said that the doll would randomly begin to sing and speak even when its switch was turned off. So now things are increasingly getting worse.
Okay.
That's pretty crazy.
So moving of his own volition, or at least making noise of his own volition.
Right. When the switch was on off.
Okay. So right? does the sound pitch change? Does it say anything about that?
I don't know. It didn't say anything about that.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that it was all the same volume, same pitch, same everything, except that still doing that Spanglish kind of thing.
Wow.
English to Spanish. So December 2019 now, okay? So a few years later, the family decides to throw Elsa out, all right? So weeks later, the family found the doll inside a bench in their living room. All right, so they threw the doll away, and a few weeks later, they find it back in their house, which is weird. And the kids insist and swear that they did not go through the trash and place the doll inside the bench.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but kids lie.
Kids do lie.
Yeah, kids do lie. She's playing more devil's advocate than anything.
Because I believe it, but like I feel like that's something I would have done, and then I would have lied about it. Okay. If my parents got rid of something they didn't want me to have, and I wanted it, or I seen it getting thrown out, automatically I want that. Especially as a kid.
That's valid.
Even if you get a lie, you want the doll. You hid it somewhere. I mean, that is weird, but I'm just saying it could be that. Just play devil's advocate.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Interesting. Damn, you brought the real scientist on this one. Yeah, she knowing.
Okay, but now, right? So the doll's back in the house.
All right.
And now Elsa would only sing "Let It Go" in complete Spanish. So
no more Spanglish.
No more Spanglish. No more English. Wow. Just straight Spanish.
Goodness.
Okay. And that was when you pressed the button on her necklace. So that was the original button. That would make her sing the song in English. And now, for whatever reason, it's strictly in Spanish.
Yeah, that's the one thing I can't explain.
Right. So yeah, that's pretty weird. All right, so now, right, that's pretty weird. So the family double bags the doll, okay, places it at the bottom of the garbage, all right, and watches as the garbage, garbage day comes, picks it up, all right. So now it's gone. So they've witnessed, all right, no one's going to go through and whatnot. Okay. So the family decides to go on a trip, right? When they return, supposedly Elsa was waiting in the backyard of their home, which is weird.
And she was just there chilling?
She's just there, I guess, like in their backyard.
Forget it.
Yeah, that's
right?
not.
So that's weird.
That's weird.
That's weird. I'd have closed the door on her if I saw it. All right, you stay out there.
At that point, I would have burned the doll.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, so yeah, no, okay.
Shoot a flaming arrow at it.
At that point, like, I don't trust the garbage. I don't trust nobody. I'm burning it. I'm watching it burn and melt with my own eyes.
Right. Okay, so after that, that was the last. That was the last straw. So after that, they mailed it to a family friend in Minnesota. Okay, so they mailed
it's cold like
doll
Minnesota.
to a family member in Minnesota, right? This family member taped Elsa to the front bumper of his truck. All right.
All right, get out of here with this story.
Yeah. No,
the story is crazy.
So, right? Okay, now the Madonier family says that Elsa has not made her way back to Houston yet, and that was as of February 2020 this year.
Yeah, because COVID happened. She was staying where she was.
So I don't know.
I'm gonna have to tell. My brother lived down in Houston. I'm gonna have to tell him to look out.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, if there are any listeners that are in Minnesota and are driving around and see an Elsa doll strapped to somebody's bumper, please let us know.
So wait, that's actually happening right now as we speak in Minnesota.
Yeah, all right. Bro. So then another thing, if you go, I don't know if they have them in Minnesota, but like a Goodwill or a thrift shop, and you see an Elsa doll that only sings in Spanish, don't buy the doll.
Don't purchase the doll.
It might kill you in your sleep.
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna ask. You guys got any feedback or thoughts on that wild story?
Burn the doll ASAP as soon as you see it.
Pretty much.
I would definitely do that now. Legitly, if that doll somehow makes its way back to Houston after all that, then it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was a wrap for me when it was in the backyard, because I can't explain that.
Right.
Coming out of the trash as like a kid, I could see going and getting it and then lying about it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, when you watch it go away with the garbage people and then it's back, there's no explaining that. Like, the garbage people didn't dig through your trash, bring it back to play a prank on you.
Right. There's a lot of weird things about that story. Like, about the whole battery thing, not having to change a kid's toy for that long.
Right.
And it's switching.
You know what happens to a battery after it takes too long, right? It explodes. And it starts leaking. So the fact that it's even working after the fact that the batteries are supposed to be dead is think about that.
I've opened like old remotes.
Yeah.
And like the batteries will have
it's acid.
Yeah, it's corroded. It's like like
corrosion
green and corroded.
Yeah. So that doll's still working while the battery's possibly being corroded.
I wonder if it's still singing "Let It Go" in Spanish while it's strapped to
We setting it on fire. We just set the whole car on fire.
That's
right?
wild.
That is creepy. That's very creepy.
So you guys think that doll was really haunted, or do you think it's just some dysfunctional toy? Like,
if it only like switched to like singing and stuff like that, and it didn't end up coming back in their backyard, then people would chalk it up to being a malfunction. But I mean, after you watched it leave, regardless of what it's doing, it could not sing at all.
Mm-hmm.
If you get rid of something that's an object and you watch it leave and it's gone, trash people took it, not people and it ends up back with you, like that's weird. That's unexplainable. That's something you can't explain.
That's scary.
Okay, I'll agree with it.
And trying to say, like, people would be like, well, what if someone was trying to mess with you? That's a reach. To me, that's a huge reach. You
don't think there's somebody
like,
out there
my garbage man has it out for me, so he puts like a creepy doll back in my like backyard. That to me is
garbage
a reach.
men can be pretty evil. They can be mad. They are angry people.
In Texas, the garbage people are probably nice. People are lovely in Texas.
Yeah, there were too many.
Texans are lovely.
Thank you. Shout outs to everybody in Houston.
Absolutely.
Shout
we got
out
family.
For Texas in general. Yeah.
Family in Texas.
In Texas, yeah. Houston and Dallas.
Cool. Have you ever been to Houston or Texas?
I lived in Houston for like 10 years.
Wow.
My best friend moved to Houston for 2 years. Broke my heart, but he needed to. But yeah, he moved to Houston for 2 years.
Oh, no.
So you got Houston's cool?
Houston is lit.
Oh, he loved it.
I've never been. That's cool.
Yo, we will figure out how to get you there because Houston is its own type of swag. So
nice.
Completely different. Yeah.
Nice. So, Johnna, I know that you have some good stories that you brought for us.
I do.
Okay.
I know you had said your first story, you're going to start with an apparition?
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, I just want to let the listeners know before you start that an apparition is a ghost or ghost-like image of a person, the appearance of something remarkable or unexpected, which is typically an image.
Okay.
Yeah,
like a silhouette or something like that.
Yeah. Or, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but this was not like your tip. Like, when you think apparition, you think shadow or silhouette of something. Like, this was scary because it was like a full-bodied apparition. Like, it looked like a person. It looked like an actual person. Okay. And that's why this story just has stuck with me all these years because it's just, I seen it. Right. There was no denying what I seen.
Okay, you want to jump right into it?
Yeah. Tell us.
Okay, so when I was a teenager, I had a best friend. His name is Joey, and he lived in Pleasant Valley. Actually, like right around here. Mm-hmm. And he lived in this big, beautiful house. But the house, like, it had like a scary ambiance to it. Like, it was a very, like, the way it was built, like when you walked in, like, they had a spiral staircase that was very like Dracula.
Yeah, like that Victorian type of setting. Yeah.
Like it was like it was a beautiful house, but like it was creepy. And this one night in particular, there would be times when we would do like slumber parties in the living room, and we would throw his mattress over the banister where his bedroom was. It was easier than walking it down the hallway and down the stairs, and there was no room, so we just used to throw it over the banister. Okay. And this night in particular, we were watching movies on the floor, and it was late, and I thought at this point that I was the only one up. And I was laying on the floor, and all of a sudden I look up, and the way it was set up, his like house is like you go up the stairs, and then you walk down this long hallway, and there's a banister there. Mm-hmm. But you can see above it. Like you can see anything up there that's moving. And I seen what looked like a man, maybe like 5'8", 165 pounds, mutton chops, beard and mustache. He was in like this brown mustard colored vest, and like he kind of looked like someone you would think how they would dress in like the Revolutionary era and stuff like that. But it was just, but like I could only see, his waist up. I could only see the vest and the long button down and the mutton chops too. And he walked all the way down from his bedroom, which was at the end of the hallway, my best friend. He walked down the hall, which was...
So you saw him walking, or was he floating?
No, I was just about
like, okay, question. So I could see from like his hip up, so I couldn't see like floating, but it looked like he was just nonchalantly like walking.
Now was it? Did he
down? Like down. Okay. So, and that's what caught my eyes. Like I thought, maybe it was his stepdad, but I was confused because their bedroom was at the other end of the hall by the stairs. It wasn't down by Joey's, but when I looked up, it was not. It was not my friend's stepdad. And he walked all the way down to the stairs. He walked down the spiral staircase, and then he never came out and down into the living room. And then I seen him walk back up the spiral staircase. He just walked right back down the hallway and just disappeared. And I was freaked out. I was so bugged out, but I didn't want to wake my friends up. I was like, don't be a bitch, like suck it up.
It happens.
It went back upstairs. It's not coming for you. Like, just, let it go for the night in the morning. Cause like I said, I didn't know my friends were awake. So
they saw it too?
Well, the next day when I woke up, I was like, did you guys see anything last night? And they were like, yeah. And then that's when we all had realized that we had all seen it. But we all thought we were sleeping. Like, we were all in different...
Oh, wow.
So we didn't know. Like, my friend and her boyfriend at the time were somewhere else. My best friend was, like, next to me somewhere. I was somewhere. So we didn't know we were awake. I thought I was the only one awake. But they actually all saw it. And we talked about it the next day. And I was like, that was the creepiest thing I've ever seen.
So not only was this an experience, but it was a shared experience amongst all of you.
Yeah, like, and I thought it was weird because before I said anything, I just said to them, like, I didn't give them any details. I didn't say what he looked like. I was just like, did you guys see anything last night? And they were like, yeah. And then they started telling me what they saw. And I was just like, you, without me telling you what I saw, you just explained to me what I saw.
Right.
Was it at different times that you all saw this, or do you think?
No, we didn't. Like I said, we probably all saw it at the same time because they said it did the same thing that I said it did. It walked down the hallway, down the staircase, back up and like back. Like it was so quick, but it was also, it wasn't like it. He wasn't like running the staircase. He was like walking the staircase. Like it took like a good, solid minute for him to walk down, back up, and like back. Like it wasn't a quick 30-second, like he disappeared thing. Like we watched it happen.
Let me actually throw a question at you then from the point of view of everybody sharing it. When they wanted to talk to you about what they saw, how did that make you feel when they finally told you what you saw without them telling you, or without you telling them rather?
Well, like, I wasn't shocked because, like I said, he lived in this house. So, like, he told me ahead of time that, like,
Oh, so he's used to it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Pretty much, he was like, listen, creepy shit happens here all the time. You might hear some things. You might see some things. Like, we've never been harmed. Like, we don't think it's bad or whatever.
He ain't still there, is he?
No, they moved. Oh. He moved now. But,
was there a history on this house? Like, what's the history? Is there some...
That I don't like. I remember us like trying to look stuff up, and I believe that he did, and I believe in what he found. What he told me is that like it used to be like an old Amish farm, like where he grew up, because it was like a huge thing of land, and there was like a chicken coop, and like the house itself was a farmhouse. So he said like that, and there was like a little girl and a man and a family, and that's pretty much like all he really gathered from it and was able to tell me. But I recently actually tried to do more research on it because I knew I was like coming to tell the story, and I couldn't find anything on it. But then again, I didn't really know how to look for something like that. It's easy to look for, stories that you've heard before, mainstream stories and stuff like that. It's easy to look up those accounts, but I mean, we've never shared it with anyone really other than each other. So it's not something you can like Google. You just kind of have to take my word for it. But it was really freaky. It freaked me out.
I'm sure. What's crazy about that story is I think the amount of detail that you were able to see, like on the guy,
like on the guy, the coat. She was like running down a hand and everything.
That's
color of it, you know.
That's why I said like it didn't, like when you think apparition, you think like shadow or silhouette, or you know, like you see someone but you can see through them, or maybe you know you can see fully their top half but not their bottom half or something. But like this is detailed. Like I seen like it was like a person. Like I said, I thought it was his stepdad.
Now, do you think was it really that tangible? Like like when you saw it, it didn't feel, because I guess I come from the idea of it looking like transparent or a spirit, like as seen on TV or movies. Did it look like it was something that was, you know, like as if you're looking at me, like it's a human? That type of thing?
It definitely didn't. Like, okay. So, like, I could make out, like, his face. Like, it didn't look, I don't want to say it didn't look human, but it didn't look how, like, you guys look or how I look. Like, it looked like he was, like, gray and, like,
pale,
sunken in.
Got it.
You know, it didn't look, you know, it looked like if, like, a corpse was, like, playing Weekend at Bernie's or something.
Jesus.
You know, like... It wasn't like, it didn't look like a, you know, a you or me person, but it like the figure itself was solid. Like the clothes I seen were solid. The mutton chops, beard, and like what's it called, like solid. And it just, to this day, I always think about it because it really spooked me to see that. Yeah. Like I said, I've always believed and I've watched movies and I've gotten scared and I loved it. But when it happened to me, it was just a very different situation. Okay. I was excited the next day, like after, like in the moment I was definitely terrified. Like the next day I was just like, that was kind of cool. Like that was, you know, like I've believed for so long and I've believed in, you know, nothing that's ever been factually shown to me other than what I've been told and stuff like that, and what claims to be, you know, real events on TV. But after like experiencing it and seeing it for myself, it's like there's no denying it. Now it's real. Like it became fully real for me in that moment.
What do you think, Josh?
Ah, man, it's a crazy experience to have.
Yeah, you were in stunned silence.
Okay, so after this had happened, you've been back to the house since?
Oh, like I mean, I continued to go there every weekend. Okay. I basically like lived there.
And did you ever experience anything like that again afterwards?
I've had experiences again. One of the stories I'm going to tell later is another experience actually that I had there.
Is it worse than this one?
To me it is, only because of because this was the only time that I actually like felt afraid. Like I was scared when I seen the apparition, but after going through what I went through this night/morning, it was very just, I was afraid. I was scared. I didn't sleep. I didn't go to sleep. Wow. I stayed up till it stopped and then until dawn broke.
And how old were you?
Like 14 or 15.
Jesus.
I'd be scared too.
Yeah. I would not be in that house. I'd be like, yo, Ma, I gotta go.
Dude.
Yeah.
No, but that was my best friend and that's what we did, and we didn't feel, up until that point, I didn't feel threatened at all. And
was there eye contact? Do you remember? No. Okay,
no.
so
he didn't like look at us. Like he just walked down the stairs. Like he was just. That's why me and my friends think it was a residual haunting. Now, see, the difference between a residual and an intelligent haunting is a residual haunting is something that like plays on a loop. It's like an event or like a party, like how they say on like the Queen Mary, sometimes in the ballroom they'll hear music playing like as if it's a party from back in the day.
And it's always the same song at the same period, point in time, and everything.
So that's more of like a residual haunting. It's like residue. It's stuck there, you know, just playing over and over again. Where intelligent haunting is like if you ask a spirit to like knock and it knocks, or if you ask a spirit to talk and you can hear it, or if you know, like where it can interact with you, that's an intelligent haunting.
So which one of these two hauntings is the more common one?
More common one is definitely residual. Residual haunting is usually what people find the most common.
Okay.
It's just something that, you know, and a lot of it actually, and here's what a lot of skeptics can't disprove, is it's actually scientifically proven that in the ground there's some kind of rock. I forget what kind of rock it is. But there's like something that pulls to a magnetic field that can create energy that helps fuel spirits and stuff in certain places.
So you're saying that spirits and things like that they're powered by like electrical impulses or something like that?
Yeah, like that's how like
Energy.
a residual
Energy,
haunting can get like stuck in a place. Like if there's a place that holds a lot of that power, like something like that can get stuck there. If it was a tragedy, a good time, or something like that, it could get stuck. So when you go there, it could happen, it couldn't happen, but if it does, it's usually something that happens over and over again in like a loop, which is what me and my friends think what we saw was. We think it was just residual. Like it was just another day for this guy. He just didn't know, and it's, just his routine that's just stuck. Jesus. And he's just stuck.
So final question, at least for me. Did it get to the point where it was a just common thing? Did you ever at any point feel comfortable with it? With this happening?
Well, yeah, I would say I was always comfortable with it because I never was like, oh, I'm not coming to your house.
Oh, that's true.
And up until he moved to Texas and then his mom moved out of that house, up until then I stayed in that house. Every weekend, every summer, almost there every single day. Like, it never deterred me. I was never scared. Except for the one experience I was scared, but like at the same time, nothing happened to me physically. So I was just like, it's not threatening. It just, I was truly afraid because it was scary what I went through. But it never deterred me from going to the house. I always like felt comfortable in the house, because there was always so many people in the house.
Okay. So safety in numbers, that type of thing. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I guess I would feel a little, I'd definitely be scared if that incident had happened. But to have, other people there with you,
yeah, exactly,
makes you feel a little better.
Yeah, you can poke them. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw
that. This is actually a funny story, and you guys don't have to keep it in if you don't want, but it's funny. It's not really like, so one night I was sleeping at my friend's house, and his boyfriend was sleeping in the bed, and I was sleeping at the bottom of their bed, like on the floor on another mattress, and the way that the blanket was draped over his boyfriend's foot, I woke up at like 4:00 in the morning, half asleep, and it looked like a face. And it was so close to my face. And I punched his foot, and his boyfriend woke up screaming, and then he woke up like, what? Like, what's going on? Like, my best friend. And he was like, she punched my foot. And I was like, it looked like a face. I started busting out laughing because I wasn't scared once I realized it was just the way the blanket was draped over his foot. But in that split second, when I was half asleep, waking up, and there was a face this close
right
to
up
me.
to you saying, sup, what's going on?
And because of what I've gone through in that house, it wouldn't have surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was horrified, and I punched his foot, and it was just, that was funny.
That's funny. So this is great. That was a great story.
Definitely.
We want to remind all our listeners that they can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and YouTube. Please, show love, listen, like, comment, share, subscribe. Give us that 5-star rating.
The 5-star always, please.
Always. We would really appreciate it. So I have a question for our listeners out there. Do you own a computer? Are you having trouble with broken screens, data backup issues, password reset problems, virus spyware removal, software installation issues? If so, Slipstream Repair Computer Electronic Solutions has you covered. Contact Timothy Latunde at 845-204-1712. The email is ss.sho16@gmail.com. Once again, that is 845-204-1712. And the email is ss.sho16@gmail.com. Call or email to schedule a free consultation. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're looking forward to hear about this other experience that you went through. Welcome back to It's All Relative. So let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys have any favorite horror villains? Michael Myers or Jason.
Yeah. I like Jason and Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, they're both exceptionally crazy.
Yeah, no, I love all the great classics like Michael and Jason and Freddy. They're always my go-to around this time, especially Michael. But I have a soft spot for like Pennywise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shout out. Wait, the original or the new one?
The new one.
The new one is also legit.
I like both of them because I love Tim Curry. I love him.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He did.
But I love the way that Andy did this. The way with the 1 and the 2. Like I like how he.
Okay, so did you like the fact that it was like more visceral and like more?
I thought it was way more scary.
Way more scary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old one had like this creepy tone to it. Like this very creepy.
Yeah, like I'm following you type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I feel with this one, it was just it was more like, like jump scary, like fear. And he looked 10 times creepier this time.
Very true.
10 times creepier.
I thought they did a really good job, making the new one. It was pretty close, very similar to the first one. Have either of you ever read the book?
Never.
Because the book, like most things, but the book is pretty different than the movie. There's a few scenes that are in the book that are crazy. And they obviously left them out of the movie.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean about the creepy undertones. Like they left it in and like, but there's like an innuendo where they like kind of gangbang the one girl in like the cave or whatever. Like in the book, like there's like they like tiptoe around it, but like it doesn't outright say it, but it pretty much says like in the book that they like gangbang her out in the fucking tunnels.
That's actually what I was
turn that off.
What I was talking about. Because no, it was more along the lines. I think like how the story goes. Was that the girl, I forgot her name, but she was the only girl in that group of friends.
Okay.
She like in the book, she ended up sleeping with every single one of those kids down in the tunnel, but it was more along the lines of making them become it was like a
men, not scared and like
maybe men, but it was more like
fear.
A symbol of a connection now with all of them.
Okay,
because they were all, you know what I'm saying?
I didn't expect that direction, but yeah, I can understand it. Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, it's very strange.
See,
strange,
that's what I like with the new one. They didn't base it really all around her. Like they still keep her storylines with the main character Bill, and then the other one, I forget his name,
I
but
forget his name as well.
Him. But I like they don't do it like that, and that's what I meant about the first one. Like the first one has very creepy like undertones like that in the movie. That's why I felt like it. That's why I like this one a lot better. And like I said, it's scarier. And I love Bill Hader.
Shout outs to Bill Hader.
He did a good job.
Yeah,
actually,
he's my favorite.
Yeah, he did a really good job in that.
He's hot in like a geeky, nerdy kind of way.
Shout outs to being a geeky, nerdy, and still being hot.
Like he's so funny. Like he makes me laugh so much. He's my favorite.
Funny. He's funny.
Yeah,
that's cool though. But yeah, that's what I had always wondered because it would have been tough to be able to put that scene in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Just for what age they were and whatnot.
It doesn't really matter. It's the kid snatcher. He's like creeping out of like the vents and everything, trying to pull kids under.
Not like he's trying to kill the kids. That's bad enough. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's worse. Like it's worse insinuating like that.
Well, so let me just say that I want to talk about this one quick story about since you guys mentioned Freddy Krueger.
Sure. Okay,
we all are familiar with the story, right?
All about
Nightmare on Elm Street.
We taking you through the dream.
Yes, like I said earlier, I lived on Elm Street in Wappingers. They have Elm Street. I lived on Elm Street in Wappingers.
That's crazy.
Wappingers Elm Street? Shit.
So
not going that way.
Yeah, so the story or the whole concept of Freddy, I think was probably the best, was my favorite. Even though I think my favorite villain is probably still Michael Myers. The story, behind Freddy Krueger and the whole concept is crazy. And Wes Craven, who is the writer of Nightmare on Elm Street, wrote this movie based off true life newspaper articles.
Okay.
Which is crazy. So
this actually happened to him or to somebody he knew.
Right. Well, maybe not somebody he knew, but these articles talk about these weird experiences. So let me jump into that real quick.
Let's go.
So the LA Times, all right, there was some newspaper articles from the LA Times that reported strange phenomenon where young Asian refugees would mysteriously die in their sleep.
No, wait, where was this again?
In LA, I'm assuming, since
LA
Times. Yeah,
sure.
Since it was reported, it was an LA Times article, news article. So,
right.
But it was reported that many of these men would refuse to sleep, saying that they had terrifying nightmares and that they feared that they would lead to death, which is
well, I mean,
that's the end.
No, but I mean, there is some truth to that. You can be scared to death, and it can happen while you sleep. It happens to people with sleep paralysis. They can have a heart attack while they're going through that. Sleep paralysis is serious. You see a sleep paralysis demon, you can't move, you can't talk.
Move. I'm waking them up.
Yeah, no, I only went through sleep paralysis one time, but it's horrifying.
Wow.
But you could I mean, if you were scared enough, you could be scared to death in your sleep. So I mean, I can understand what they mean about having a nightmare and being afraid to be scared to death. One time I had a dream that I was swimming in somewhere, and there was bodies in this hill of sand, and they were under this water. I was swimming in a giant swimming pool, but there was sand under it, and there was hills, and there was dead bodies, and there was this dead body, and as I was swimming over it, opened up its eyes, and it's in this sand hill, okay, and I woke up. It was 7:30 in the morning. I texted my fiance, and I did not want to go back to sleep. I was I'm literally scared to go back to sleep because I don't want to dream about that again.
Wow.
I was almost crying.
Keep them awake
I
forever.
was scared.
Oh no.
So I mean, I can get it. I can get being scared to death by a dream. That doesn't seem so far-fetched, so I'm excited to see where it goes awry.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was just one article, so that was an idea, or
So are these disjointed
different
stories?
Articles? Yeah, different articles, but all leading.
Is there?
To the
does
same
there?
topic.
Okay, so it all does join
up. So there's
up.
going to be a common thread between all of them.
So this next article was reported by a 21-year-old. He was a son of a physician. Okay, and this happened in Laos, Cambodia. He wrote this little article on this family who was having trouble getting their son to go to sleep. Okay, the son kept saying that he's had nightmares before, but what he was experiencing was different, and he was scared, terrified to go to sleep.
Did he ever elaborate on what it was, or he just said it's a scary dream? Was he ever oh, it's this that's happening to me that's scaring me, or did he try to describe it, draw it? Kids usually draw stuff like that.
Unfortunately, the article did not say anything about that. But
damn articles.
Yeah. So he'd be given sleeping pills, right? His parents would give him sleeping pills to help him sleep.
Okay.
And he'd say he'd take them, but he wouldn't. He didn't.
Yeah, no.
So the kid ended up staying up for 6 days, right?
Okay.
Which is
That's
crazy.
That's not good.
No. He finally falls asleep, right? And the family is super relieved that, he's finally falling asleep.
Super happy.
They can get some rest, So what they do is, his parents carry him up to his bedroom, and, they shut it down for the evening. They're going to go to sleep. Finally.
Yeah.
Right? So... everyone falls asleep, and in the middle of the night, right, they hear screams and crashing from the child's room. So they get up, and they rush to the kid's room. By the time they get there, the child was dead.
Whoa, I did not expect that ending.
Okay.
Or does it say what the scene looked like?
Jesus, I thought he was gonna be like running
Like,
all
what
over
does
the
the
place.
room look like? Is it in shambles? Is the room like nothing happened?
They
Is he
didn't-
dead in his bed? Is he on the floor?
They
Like,
didn't elaborate on that. This is I guess the end of what they had said was okay. So parents wanted an autopsy performed, right?
yeah.
Right.
Autopsy was performed,
So he must have been in his bed. If he,
Was
if
it a
he
heart
wasn't
attack?
like, slammed on the floor. Or
and
something
the
like that.
doctor said it was not of a heart attack.
Not of a heart attack.
Not of a heart attack.
So is it conclusive?
Was unexplained reasons cause of death.
Inconclusive.
All right, I did not expect this story.
So
Yeah, no,
right?
that's
Okay, but now this is a little wild fact. So this all happened, horrible. Parents now are back in the child's room, just I guess cleaning up, going through things, They find in his closet a Mr. Coffee Maker, right? Full of hot coffee. So, and they find like, a bottle or a cup or whatever of all the sleeping pills that his parents have been giving him.
Right.
So he was
Wait, this
using
kid was drinking coffee. This kid was making coffee in his closet to stay awake.
to stay awake.
How old
6
was
days.
this kid?
I don't know.
He was
That's the
drinking
unfortunate
Mr.
thing.
Coffee.
Like I said, this
No, that's
this,
like I
Oh,
think
the
the
maker,
name
right?
brand
The
of
name
the
brand, right?
yeah.
this story is on
Coffee
Google.
either way.
You can Google it up. It
That's
wasn't very
nuts.
yeah, right.
Can you
It's-
imagine a kid just like chugging them
but
back?
6 days to help
Jesus.
stay awake because he was
It's
so
a heart
he was
attack.
scared.
Come on,
He
man.
was so
Yeah,
scared.
no, but that is weird though. Like, cause a heart attack, you'll see it.
Right.
Right. So you
It's
I
very
mean,
violent, or it can be.
Unless here's the only thing I could think. But I mean, again, it would come up in an autopsy, is if the parents, found it beforehand. Say they found it. Say they found it later, but say
Sure.
they found it beforehand.
Mhm.
They put it in his food or something. They overdid it. Kid dies. So they tell this elaborate story. He didn't want to sleep. Then we heard crashing. We heard this. We
Mhm.
walk in. He's dead. But I mean, there would still in the autopsy be a trace of something.
Correct.
So that's where, I mean, that theory
Strange.
kind of ends right there because
Crazy.
it's like you can't, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very strange. That's why you gotta
that is strange.
yeah, you gotta ask yourself like why or like what caused this child to be so scared to go to sleep. Like what was like
Maybe it was like the coffee that was causing it.
I don't know. Could be.
No,
but,
I've had some
or-
pretty creepy dreams, though. I mean, I have like dreams where like, and I'll call my best friend a lot. I don't know why, because he has a dream book, like a dream interpretation book, and it's in my closet. I have it. It's his book, but I have it.
Mhm.
But I still always call him and ask, and he's like, read the book. But I have like I have dreams where like people are trying to kill me.
Mhm.
I'm like stuck, like multiple people trying to kill me.
Wow.
Right.
Forget it.
Like and it's weird. Like
Never
I don't,
happens.
but it does happen.
But not to
Like,
cause you to
scary.
purposely force yourself to stay up for
No.
6 days.
No, I've
7
never
So-
been so scared to the point where I've never wanted to sleep.
See, so that's what's crazy. That's
So,
what.
but this would be
but-
the question that I would have for that. When you're awake for a very long time, you kind of do go into like a psychotic state.
Oh,
Like maybe like it's almost like he's sleeping but standing up.
not
Yeah.
only that. They're like after you don't sleep for like a couple of days, like
Yeah, what
after
happens? The
like,
oxygen
like
leaves
6
your
days,
head, right?
like
Yeah.
you start
Hallucinating.
hallucinating, you
There
start
you go.
hearing stuff, seeing stuff, like, and you just like you're losing your mind because you are.
Right.
this is
So maybe
all-
that's
all
what
valid.
killed. Yeah.
all valid points. Yeah,
Like
I
he
don't.
woke up and like bugged out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wigged out
Yeah,
and then died. Yeah.
quite possible. But either way, those 2 articles are very very interesting, and that's
that's definitely like
Very. I
That's
got
weird.
even
I
more
like
questions for
that.
the second story.
those is what gave Wes Craven, I guess, the idea of to write about, and that's how he.
You sure he
created-
didn't make this
Friday.
up and then
Night.
put it in the article?
No,
and
no,
then
no. These
Get the feedback loop?
no. I
Because
believe
that's crazy.
Yeah, I believe the I forgot how it was worded, but I mean, stories on Google.
yeah.
You know
All
what
right,
I'm
I will be
saying?
Googling that one for sure.
But like,
No, my
That's cool, though.
favorite. I love Wes Craven and I love, Freddy. But my favorite has got to be Ghostface. I don't know if it's the millennial in me, but it came out the year I was born.
I like Ghostface.
Scream
Killer.
1. And
Ghostface
it came out
Killer.
the year I was born. And I love him. He's my favorite. When it comes to Wes Craven, love the Scream movies.
So, yeah.
Because you also got to think, you got to take into consideration, Wes Craven only made the first Nightmare on Elm Street and then Nightmare on Elm Street New Nightmare. 2 through 5.
When it started getting wacky.
2 through 6.
Yep.
He didn't direct any of those.
Oh, of course. It was
he
definitely
didn't direct
not.
movie 2 through 6.
Definitely
He
not.
directed number 1 and then New Nightmare.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
No,
cool.
someone took over for the second and third one, and that's why they all suck.
Exactly. Crazy with, killing
That's
with
why
Nintendo
in the beginning
gloves
of
and stuff.
Scream,
Yeah.
which Wes Craven wrote, Drew Barrymore says, because Ghostface on the phone says, "What do you think about Freddy, the guy's knife for hands?" He was like, "The first one was good, but the rest sucked." And she says that, and it's kind of like a dish because he only wrote the first one. He didn't write any of the other ones.
Got you.
Yeah.
Shout outs to all the garbage versions of that movie.
I love
Yeah.
Wes Craven, but
It's
Scream
good.
is definitely
the Scream
my
movies
favorite.
were cool. I remember the first one. I was a big fan.
I did not like the rest. The
I
first
was
one
young.
was very compelling, though.
See, I didn't care that much for 3, but I liked
Okay.
2.
So did
I
I.
you
liked
like
2.
2? Oh.
I did like 2.
I like
Okay.
I like 2 as well. I didn't like how I guess I thought it was maybe cool. Like
3
the
sucked.
ideas of the killer in the second one. I don't know if I was a fan of that.
Like
Okay, I
his
can
mom
understand.
and then the one guy.
Well, actually, I thought having his mom as one of the killers was pretty genius. That was cool. I
But you
didn't
think her
really like.
sidekick was stupid.
Yeah, Mickey. I believe that was his name.
I feel like more or less he was just in the movie to be like eye candy, because in the first one you got to think you had Skeet Ulrich as, Billy Loomis, and you had
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard.
Okay, y'all
and-
both got it.
right? And like they're both like very good looking guys. So like in the second one I feel like he was more or less to be in there for eye candy.
Maybe. The third one.
Whatever draws them in, right?
Yeah, the third one I also wasn't really a big fan of. I don't know.
And I think that they also wanted to keep the aspect of like the killer teenage boy.
Mm.
Everyone loves a bad boy.
I
I'll
did
take
not
your
expect
word.
that from
I'll
those
take your
angles.
word
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I didn't know. I didn't
yeah.
even like when we talk about like horror or anything. I've never really even looked at it from like, he's sexy.
No, but I
angle,
mean,
or
like,
from
think
a
about it.
sexy
Like,
person
really think
angle.
about it. Okay,
I
so
never
like,
thought of it that way.
think about it like this. So, like, when you're watching a movie, if the killer is like some washboard abs, sweet, suave, hot guy, the whole movie you're like, he's a psycho, but it's hot. Now think about watching a
Wow.
movie where the killer is like the nerd, the outcast that's getting revenge. You're like, he's crazy, he needs to get over it, he's psycho. You don't like. I mean, you feel bad for him because he got picked on, but
But you like him because he's hot, though.
But the other guy, you're like, well, yeah, he's psycho, but he's hot. It's
But
okay.
oh
But
no,
you're like,
That's
this
like
guy, it's
asking
like
to
he's
die.
a psycho. It's sad, but it's not okay. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I feel you.
Like, think about it like that. It is like they keep the eye candy in there.
Wow.
You need it.
Okay, I guess.
All right. So, Johnna,
Yeah.
you have one more
I do
true
have my
life
last story.
experience that you have brought to share with us. I'm
Mhm.
excited
I
to
do.
hear this.
And now, some people might think that my first story is scarier than this one, but for me, this one really got me. This one scared me. So we were all hanging out. It was me, my friend Joey, my friend Kirby, my friend Nicole. My friend Nicole had left earlier in the night, so it was all of us left, and then Kirby threw up all over the place, so then he left. And then I was in the bed. It was early in the morning.
Okay.
My friend Joey was sleeping on the floor. It was 3:30.
Okay.
And at 3:30 I started hearing running back and forth, like kids playing. Now at the time it was only his mom, his dad, and his little sister in the house, but she was sleeping downstairs with their mom. It's 3:30 in the morning, I know for a fact. And I heard 2 kids going back and forth, laughing, giggling, playing. And I was creeped out on the bed, and I'm trying to wake up my friend, and he's like, what? And I'm like, I hear shit. And he's like, just go to bed, ignore it. And I'm like, no, you're
Ignore
bugging.
it.
You're out of your
Don't worry
mind.
about it. It's nothing.
But then I started hearing a baby cry. There was no baby in that
There's
house.
no baby.
And then, okay, so then, and now he had the room that was upstairs in the back corner. And right next to that was his little sister's room. Now, she never slept in that room. No one ever slept in that room. When you go in that room, like, you feel something watching you. I hated that room. Because that room was so creepy. You go in and it really does, like, it just has this weird feeling, this, like, end room. And it was her room, and she never even slept in it.
How old was she?
She was like 6 at the time.
So the voices or the kids that you heard were younger than 6, or
no, they're probably like around that age, but it was a boy and a girl. I heard like a boy. I heard like 2 like distinct 2 different like kids.
So there's 2 kids
laughing.
And then a baby as well.
Yes, the baby started later. Yes. So then like I hear the kids playing and stuff, and I'm like, I'm freaking out at this point. So and then I hear arguing. Now I hear all of this right outside the door. I don't hear it because I know what it sounds like when his mom and his stepdad would like yell back and forth downstairs. It was a big house, so if they're on the other side and whatever, like I know what it sounds like to hear yelling from downstairs. This was coming right out in front of his door. Now from 3:30 to 4:30 in the morning, I heard 2 grown-ups arguing, like a man and a woman, and like a baby crying.
So
and
the
like
full
the
family.
kids stopped, had like I hadn't like heard the kids once I started hearing the arguing, like in the like, and it scared me. Like it felt like forever. Like it felt like I sat there with my eyes on that door for what seemed literally like forever. Like I felt like it was like hours and hours.
In that instant.
And then as soon as it stopped, I looked at the clock and it had only been an hour, and I was like,
forget it.
And it was pitch black in the house, the room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
totally
it was
dark.
like his TV was like on this thing, so like it had like there was nothing on the screen, but it was like, when it says like no signal and it's like still kind of like lit up, so like you could see, like it's dark, but it's not pitch black.
Yep.
But I wasn't getting up to mess with it or anything, so I left it alone. But I stayed there and I looked at that until the sun came up, and I looked and I sat there and I did not go to sleep that night. And it was, I was horrified.
We're talking about the lack of sleep.
Horrified.
For sure. Make sure you sleep at some point.
And to me, that was way worse than seeing the apparition. Like, because with that, I seen it. With this, like, I felt tormented. Like, I felt like I could not step out of that room. Like, I felt like if I opened that door, that I was going to see something that I did not want to see.
Did you
and I was scared.
Did you recognize any of the voices?
No,
so
nothing.
They weren't familiar.
Like no, like it was weird. It was like I heard arguing between a man and a woman and a baby crying. That all happened at the same time. But before that, I heard the kids playing back and forth. Like I heard running up and down the hallway, laughing, giggling. Like it was traumatized. Like I was so scared.
I'm like in stunned silence just listening to this.
That would scare the shit.
That would scare me.
I was petrified. I looked at that door until it stopped. Like I was so scared.
Yeah, hearing little kids like laughing or running around or something like in the middle of the night,
it can be unnerving.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like kid apparitions and stuff like that, to me that is way scarier.
I agree.
But you know why it scares me more? Is because like demons and like demonic spirits and like that and like like evil spirits and stuff, when they want to appeal to people to feed off of them, they'll appear as children.
Okay.
Because no one's intimidated of a child.
Right.
You're being haunted by what? Pigtails? What are they playing? Duck, duck, goose?
Sure.
Like you're being haunted by a child. What is a child gonna do? So they'll appeal like that. They'll appeal to your whatever. And that's why I don't mess with children. I've seen children of the Corn. No, thank you.
Let me ask you a question to you then.
Damien's, you ever seen that
The Omen?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've seen all the versions of The Omen. It's freaky.
Yeah.
It's freaky. I don't mess with it.
Let me ask you a question then. You said nighttime as well. So is there no demons that are associated with like daytime? Like
I don't know about that. I know that like a lot of scary things tend to happen at 3:00 because it's the Holy Trinity or mocks the Holy Trinity or something like that. And that is why like bad things tend to happen a lot at 3:00. Wow. It's a witching hour. And
so can you like somehow avoid that, like sleep beyond 3?
Well,
or
I mean,
just
yeah,
not
but I
show
mean,
up
if
for
you
3 o'clock?
wake up at 3 o'clock, you hear "stay in bed."
Jesus,
Stay in bed. If you hear some
I'm gonna have
sketchy
to cross on the
shit,
door too.
if you see or hear some sketchy shit, and you look over, or you look at your phone, and it's 3 o'clock, put your blanket over your face.
Yeah, exactly.
And just ignore it.
I'll have the prayer beads in one hand, the cross on the other. So
as long as you
I'm
don't
good.
engage, they don't bother you. That's the one
Okay.
thing.
Well,
but once you start engaging, that's when it becomes bad. That's why a lot of people who mess with like Ouija boards and stuff like that, that's not good. Because you can open doors, you can open portals, you can invite things in that you don't want. Especially if you're not a pro, so you don't know how to open it properly, you don't know how to close it properly. And if you don't know how to close it properly, that can lead to a lot of things that are not good.
So let me ask you real quick, going back to your story. Did anyone else that you were with hear these voices?
No, because it was just me and him. And he was knocked out. He was sleeping.
So he
like,
can't even like corroborate.
No,
it
like I tried to wake him up. I'm like, I'm hearing shit, and he was just like, go to bed, like it's fine.
He was like, all right, just go to sleep.
Was this the same house?
Yes, this was the same house from the first one.
Wow.
It was the same house.
Yes, this was my best friend's house. Yes.
Y'all got to stay out of that house.
Yeah.
There's got to be some history.
There's some history
house.
there.
There's
some evil there.
That's
for
what
sure.
I think. Like I think like because like just and nothing ever like to me, but like the stuff that like I mean besides going in that one room and feeling like somebody look at me from the darkness, like even when we would walk down the hallway and her door would be open, just looking into the darkness, like it just made you feel uncomfortable.
All right, let me throw a question at you then. Since this is the same house, is it in the same area?
No. When I seen the apparition, I was downstairs. The apparition, however, was when he started walking, he came from right in front of the door where I was when I heard everything.
Okay.
So we were in his room, my best friend's room, the night that I heard everything.
All right. So when was the two experiences? How far, like within years or months, or?
I definitely think they were separate years. I don't know which one came first.
Okay.
I don't remember. I believe that I seen the apparition before. Because that happened kind of late. Like, because that was, I think the story that I just told was definitely the second encounter. The first one was the apparition. And the second one happened.
And then
the second one scared the shit out of me.
So this second one is very obviously like a malevolent or, an evil.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, it could have been like a residual thing. But the only reason why I don't think it was residual is because I had never, like I said, I basically lived there, for like whole summers, like months and months on end.
Mm-hmm.
Winter break came, I'm there. Spring break came, I'm there. Summer break, I'm there. Every weekend, I'm there. So I was never not there. And this was the first time that I actually like heard arguing and a baby crying and kids playing.
All in tandem.
Yes. And it was like so weird. And like I said, it was right outside the door. Like I felt like if I opened that door, I was going to invite something in, or like I just didn't think that opening the door to check was going to be like a good thing.
Wouldn't you want to check to just make sure?
I was too scared. And I'm someone that believes, and I'm not scared. I'm not scared of spirits. I'm not
you're scared of whatever that was.
But that night, I was really scared.
There you go.
Just because at least the apparition, I could see it. I could see where it was coming from. I could see it coming at me. Like, I could see it, what it was doing. The voices, I just heard them. And they're right outside the door. I don't know what is on the other side of that door. What if I open that door and I see a bunch of scary apparitions and shit doing shit? I don't want to be traumatized like that. So I did not. Something in me was just like, don't open that door and just stay on this bed.
What time was it? When this
it
all
was
happened?
it was like 3:30 in the morning.
So close to that 3, you should have stayed inside entirely.
And then it ended around like 4:30, and it ended as soon as the sun started to come up.
Did you when you said that the voices from the man and the woman were arguing? Could you make out what they were saying? Like what? It was just like shouting. Like it was just like.
When you hear like a couple fight and you're at their house and they're trying to be like discreet about it, but they're not at all, and it's really awkward. You can't tell what they're saying, but you know that they're like throwing some shit out there because like they're arguing. Like I couldn't hear it, but I could hear arguing. And like what I pictured what I pictured was like a woman standing there holding a crying baby and her husband like arguing with her. That's what I pictured. You know, like, because the baby was happening at the same time that I heard the arguing.
Right.
So it freaked me out. It was definitely freaky. Because, like I said, I know what his mom and stepdad sound like, and it was not them.
Wasn't them.
It was not them.
That's scary.
I was scared. I was scared.
Nothing else to
shitless.
say with that.
Yeah.
I was so scared.
That was crazy.
Never been so scared. So scared.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up real soon.
Yeah.
Do you got any more questions for Johnna?
No, not necessarily. That's actually something really like I really have no idea how to even think about that.
Crazy.
It was very crazy.
It was very crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they were wild experiences, I'm sure. That's
Yeah, no. Like that's why like when I was talking to my friends, I'm like they were like telling me about like what they used to go through because he lived there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
does
it
this
was
house
really
still stand?
Like, yes.
Oh, okay.
I actually, what's crazy is I actually know the people that live there now. I used to babysit for them.
And are they experiencing this?
And I, ironically, when they moved into the house, I still babysat for them. Wow. So I babysat their kids at that house, but they had like done construction on it. They had changed the entire inside and outside of it. But
have they experienced anything, or have they said that to you?
I haven't talked to them in a long time, but when I first told them that, like, hey, like I used to, you know, like there's something here, like I've experienced it, you know, like we all did. He was a non-believer. The guy that I babysat for, he was a big non-believer, and he was like, "Don't tell my kids, they were babies." So I didn't, you know.
Right.
But yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And
but
so
yeah, he still lives there, I believe now. So
is he not? Are they not going to try and solve the case with this? Are
I don't
they just
know.
Gonna,
Because I don't know if anything's ever happened to them because they are closed off and closed-minded. I don't know if anything will.
Well,
you know, because
leave
I truly believe the reason why skeptics are the way they are is because nothing happens to them. You know, but when you don't believe and you're not open to trying to see it from a paranormal. So standpoint. So you will think of every logical explanation, even if it gets reachy, like really reachy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like you have to be open to be able to experience stuff.
Or let it just happen to you and then be scared shitless.
Yeah, but you have to still be like, okay, this is a possibility.
It's
not
like
happen. Like when you go like to investigate like Penhurst and you're skeptic and you're just like, oh, I'm going to walk around, like it's fun, you know, take some pictures and stuff like that, and they're not scared. Nothing will probably happen to them. But like if you go in thinking like I could see something, I may see something, you will see something.
Right. Open-minded.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel. Right. Yeah. Because that you invite you invite them in.
Okay, maybe that's the reason why it's never really happened to me, because if that shit is happening, I'm like over there. You know, I'm like, no, I can't.
Or
like I'm not even going to even experience it.
Or here's the thing is like something could have happened to you, but you just explained it away in logic instead of trying to see if maybe it could have been. You know, because it always could be, but there is always that what if. You can throw logic at me all you want, but unless you show me like set in stone that it actually did it, like say you hear a sound, right? And you're like, oh, it was the floorboards. Unless you show me the floorboards doing it, you cannot tell me you're 100% it was the floorboards.
Why can't somebody just like set up a camera or something and just like, all right, we're gonna capture everything. Let's see if something happens.
But like, and you can, but like, it doesn't. You know, they can manipulate audio, video.
Oh, they can.
Yeah. Like if you have flashlights, like what happens a lot is like people's equipment will like their batteries will drain and stuff like that, and their equipment will go dead or oh yeah,
they got the contingency plans.
So all that negative energy.
Yeah,
it happens
you
because what happens is the spirits will suck up all that energy trying to manifest to show you something or tell you something or show themselves to you. That's why it drains the battery, because it's trying to suck up all the energy it can.
Oh yeah, you did mention that electrical, you know, the connection with the field and whatnot.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Johnna, we want to thank you so much for.
Oh, I had so much fun.
On.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
It's very enlightening.
This was awesome because like I said, I am a geek for the paranormal. I love it.
That's awesome. Do you You got anything you want to plug in, or let the listeners know where they can contact you on social media?
Oh well, I have Facebook, and it's Johanna Danielle Hollister, and TikTok, and it's Johanna Danielle Hollister. I don't really do the whole name thing, so
I don't know. Maybe
it's
you
just
will.
Johanna Danielle Hollister for now.
It works.
Yeah,
Change it whenever you
it.
can.
You got you want to give your social media information?
So basically, Retro Show on Twitter and show on YouTube. I'm actually going to be bringing up my YouTube, doing like retro video games and stuff like that. Yeah. Nice. And on my Instagram, it is Tunde 2017, TUNDE 2017, and you will see me and my lovely mom. And you can always hit that ad.
Nice. And you guys can always follow me on Instagram on Josh_Toth3, and my Facebook is Joshua Toth. Once again, you guys can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, YouTube. Listen, like, comment, subscribe, share.
Please.
Show the love. 5-star rating.
5-star always.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. See
that? That 5-star rating.
Yes.
Yeah, we would appreciate that for sure. Shout out to our editor, Deirdre. So, all right, my man. So that's a wrap. We will see you all next week.
All right.
And we out.
Peace.